Hello Sangha, welcome to day 28 of our 31 days. I hope that this is helpful for you, and whenever you get to day 28, it's been a helpful process to commit to practicing on a regular basis, to move in your body, to focusing on your breath, to steadying your mind. The sixth of the 8 limbs is called dharana. And dharana means concentration, the ability to focus on something, which is why we're going to do some work with our feet today, because quite often the most focused I'll see a group or a class is when we're doing stuff with our feet, okay? So I've got the camera a little closer, so hopefully you can see my feet, but we'll start just moving and warming ourselves up a little bit. So start resting on your back with your feet flat and your knees bent. Place your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your belly, or vice versa. And take slow breaths in and slow breaths out. And then start to press both feet against the ground, okay? And try and make a full imprint with the whole of your feet. So it's not just your heels that are mostly pushing, or your toes, or the forefoot, it's the whole of your foot that's pushing down. Like you're trying to make a perfect imprint in the mat. And let your hips come up and down from here. And maybe place your hands by your sides and let them rest there. And slowly up and down, keeping that full imprint through your feet. And then let your arms join into. So inhale your arms up and over. Exhale them slowly back down. And try that a couple more times. Slowly up and over. Slowly back down. And one last time. Good. And when you finish that, bring your feet up off the floor and hug your knees towards your chest, moving them from side to side. Let your left foot rest on the floor. Hug your right knee a little closer to you, and then spread the toes of your right foot and then squeeze them towards the center like you would make your hand into a fist. Open your toes and squeeze. Open your toes and squeeze. And try that a couple more times. Opening and squeezing, opening and squeezing, okay? And then start to make circles with your big toe. Get movement into your foot and your ankle, and then change direction with your foot. Good. And then let that foot relax, okay? Let's switch to the other leg. Hug your left knee towards you, spread your toes, and then squeeze your toes. Spread them, squeeze them, spread them a little bit wider, move your big toe or your little toe, and then squeeze them together again. And then start to make circles with your foot, with your big toe, in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Good. And then hug both knees in towards you, taking your hips from side to side. Roll out to the side that feels comfortable for you. Push into the floor and come to a seated position. Shuffle your hips a little bit further back. Okay, so we'll do a little bit more movement globally, and then we'll go back to our feet. Bring your fingers forward, take an inhale. Exhale, let your hands go a little bit further forward. Maybe your elbows come down. Okay. Take your elbows a little wider so there's room for your head. Lift your head up, walk your hands back towards you, take your hands behind you and squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift your chest up. Inhale up with your left hand. Turn and place it on your right knee. Turn your whole body using your hands. Inhale, reach up with both arms. And exhale, turn to the other side. Inhale, reach up with both arms. And exhale, turn. Inhale, reach up with both arms. And exhale, turn. Inhale up with both arms. Give them a wee shake off on the way down. Roll through your shoulders. Let your left hand rest on the floor. Inhale up through your right hand. And exhale, reach all the way over. Inhale up back to the centre, raising the opposite arm, and exhale over. Good. Try that one more time either side. So inhale, going tall. Exhale, reach in. Inhale, go tall. Exhale, reach in. Come back to the centre. Bring your fingers in front of your shins. Take an inhale. And exhale, slowly go forward again. See if anything is eased up. Maybe you get a little deeper into this movement. And then lift your head up and walk your hands back towards you. Okay, bring one foot out towards the front. And keep the body of your foot on the ground. So you're keeping this pad here, and the pad of your heel, and lift up all your toes. And then just put down your big toe. If it doesn't do it for you, then you can use your finger. Okay, so your big toe is going up and down. Okay, and then try and put your little toe up and down. Okay, and again, you might have to use your fingers to help with that. And then big toe and little toe, big toe and little toe. This is going to take some time, so this might be a practice you revisit. Again, remember, this is where you're maybe doing your most concentration of the whole month. And then see if you can put your big toe down and your little toe down. Keep your 3 middle toes up. And then let them come down and up. So they touch the ground and come up. Touch the ground and come up. Okay. And then give your feet a wee rub after that. Give that foot a wee rub. And then let's try it on the other side. So bring your other foot out. Again, keep the pad, the little islands, 3 islands on the ground, and lift up just your toes. Put the big toe down and up. Big toe down and up. Again, use your finger if it's not moving for you. And then little toe down and up, little toe down and up. And then go big toe and little toe, big toe and little toe. Okay. You might find your hands doing weird things when you try and do this. And then big toe down, little toe down. Keep them down, keep the 3 middle toes up, and then let them come down and up. Okay. Down and up, down and up. See if you can get them moving. Good. And then relax and give everything a wee rub. Okay. Good. Okay, so let's switch up positions just briefly. Bring your hands forward, your knees towards the middle. And shift your weight back toward your heels. And then forward over your hands. Maybe let your chest come down. And then push it all the way back. Bring your weight forward. Let your chest come down. And then all the way back. Okay. Good. Come forward. Push out through your left foot. Imagine you're trying to close a door behind you. So you're really pushing through and engaging your left foot. And then bring it to touch your elbow. Close the door behind, lift your chest. And touch your elbow. And then close the door behind. So push through your foot. And then let your knee come down. Try that on the other side. Reach out through your right leg. Close the door. And bring your knee forward. Close the door. And bring your knee forward. Close the door. Push through your foot. So really engage through your foot. And then let your knee come down. Walk your hands back towards your knees. See if you can get to a comfortable kneeling position. So you're opening up the front of your foot, the front of your ankles. Good. And then see if you can come forward again. Tuck underneath your toes. Walk back to your knees and let your knees come up. Okay. Keep your toes tucked under. Walk your hands forward again and place your knees down and let your hips rest on your heels with your toes tucked underneath. Not going to be so comfortable for some people, so don't worry if you're one of those people who finds this quite intense. Okay. Lift your hips, point your toes backwards, and sink your hips on your heels once more. It's really working into the dexterity of our feet, the mobility of our feet. Bring your hands forward again. This time reach out with your left toes behind rather than push, and also forward with your right hand. Take an inhale. Exhale, touch your knee and your elbow underneath. Inhale, go long. Exhale, underneath. Inhale, go long. Last time underneath. Inhale, go long. Last one of this. Let your hand come down, let your knee come down. Extend out through your right leg, point your toes behind. Taking your left hand forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, connect underneath. Inhale, go long. Exhale, underneath. Inhale, go long. Exhale, under. Last one. Inhale, go long. Let your hand come down, let your knee come down. Walk your hands back towards your knees again. Let your hips rest on your heels. Again, working a little bit into the front of our ankles, into our knees, obviously as well. Come back to a seated position. Okay. This time, place your foot on the floor and all your toes. And what we're going to do is try and pull this part of our foot towards our heel. Okay. So we're pulling it in, and you feel the muscles underneath your foot working. Now you might even touch underneath there and feel like the same way when you flex a bicep, you feel the muscles stiffen and harden, okay? So as you draw it, you might feel the muscles under here working. If they're pretty weak, they might be a little tricky to get that feeling underneath. Okay, this is the dome in your foot. I'll put a link to a really good podcast from a doctor of feet about improving the core and the strength of our feet, which is where this exercise comes from. Good. And then try the other side. So whole foot flat on the floor and start to dome the foot a little bit more. So the arch becomes a little bit more pronounced. You're pulling this part towards your heel. You feel these muscles underneath slightly engage. Okay, so it's quite tricky. You might feel a little crampy in your feet. Just relax if you do, and give them a wee rest. Good. And then give that foot a wee rub. And both feet a wee rub. Okay. And then see if you can put your first foot on the floor again. And this time we're going to just lift up the big toe on its own. So this took me years, right? This was my nemesis in terms of movement. So can you lift up your big toe up and down? Now if it's not happening, you're just like I was, okay? So big toe up, big toe down. Big toe up, big toe down. Okay, again, you might have to hold it and lift it and make it do what you're asking it to do. And then lift your big toe up and see if you can get the second toe, and then the third toe, and then the fourth toe, and then your little toe. And do a little wave backwards and forwards with your toes. So big toe, second, third, fourth. Little toe, fourth, third, second, big toe. You're just peeling them up and down. Good. And then give them a wee rub. Okay. And then let's try the other side. So foot flat on the ground. Lift your big toe. Up and down. Okay. You maybe see what I was discussing at the start in terms of concentration. It takes a lot of concentration, okay? And then big toe, second, middle, fourth toe, little toe. And go back along. Little toe, fourth, third, second, big toe. And just peel across and slowly go back. Peel across and slowly go back. Good. And then give it a little rub. Okay. So go back to the first foot again. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands and clasp your hands. Okay. We're going to try and do this with a hand and a foot. So the opposite hand to one of your feet. Take your index finger between your big toe and your second toe. And then see if you can start to squeeze each finger into this corresponding space in your foot till eventually, now this might not happen. If your feet are quite are used to being in shoes, there might be not a lot of space to get them separate. So eventually you want your fingers and your toes to be clasped, and see if you can circle it around. Get this moving, grooving. So free up any tension in your foot. Good. And release that. Okay, see how that foot feels. And then let's try that on the other side. So holding your foot, taking the opposite hand, taking your index finger between your big toe and your second toe, then trying to work each of the corresponding fingers into the corresponding spaces. And when you get there, move this around. Now, you've only got one finger in, you got one finger in. Okay, you've got plenty of time to work on this, getting your feet moving. Good. Moving this around. And then finally, release your hands, give everything a good shake off, your toes and your fingers. Bring the soles of your feet together. Okay. See if you can, the same way you separate your thumbs, try and separate both big toes. Might take your hands to help that happen. So separate just the big toes, nothing else. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. And then slowly peel it down and open your feet like a book. And then let them come back together again. Okay. Peel them down again, slowly, slowly, slowly. And then together again. So we're in this Baddha Konasana posture. Slowly down and slowly together. If you can, the same way that you clasp your hands with your fingers interlaced, you can try and take your toes and interlace your toes. Okay. I don't think I can go all the way down. I can get the first few. And you can lift that up. But you can play with that, trying to interlace your toes, get them all in, and then like a little monkey. Okay. And then release that. Leonardo da Vinci says, our feet are masterpieces of engineering and works of art. Okay, they're really beautifully designed, considering all the support they give us. Okay, and a famous yoga teacher from Brighton, Pete, says that the feet die first in the body. Okay, because we neglect them, we put them in shoes, we don't strengthen them, we don't keep them mobile, and they start to become weak and become stiff, and that affects everything up through our body. So keeping this mobility and dexterity and connection to our feet is really important. Okay, that's my little sermon on feet. I really think feet are so important to keep dexterous and strong. So whenever you're finished working your feet, come to seated position. Let's forget about our body for the next couple of minutes. Let our shoulders soften. Let our face soften. Try and find a hand position that's helpful for you today. Maybe touching your thumb and your forefingers. Tucking your chin slightly, keeping your spine long. And taking slow, smooth breaths in and slow, smooth, subtle breaths in and out. See if you can notice the subtle sound of your breath, the subtle flow of your breath. And continue to soften anywhere you can soften. Your shoulders, your face, your belly. And if you've got time to sit longer, sit longer. If you've got time to rest on your back and really give yourself deep, deep rest, then take that time. If not, let your fingers and your toes move, these toes that have seen a lot of movement over the last 20 minutes. Stretching out, reaching up, if that's helpful. Let your fingertips and the base of your palms connect into Anjali Mudra. Tuck your thumbs in between your index fingers. Om Shanti. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy your feet a little bit more. And tomorrow we will continue with the third final practice of our month.